Hi, everyone. I'm Steve here with David Wright, who is a personal trainer at Parkway Athletic Club. Thanks for being here, David.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Okay, so if you guys are interested in nutrition, interviews with doctors, nutritionists, personal trainers, subscribe to the channel. And we're looking to really roll out our own nutrition program where people can lose weight. That can be done locally in northern Nevada, or it can also be done nationwide if you need to lose weight and you need to get healthier. So, we're going to talk about some of the keys that you and I talk about all the time. Now, to give you guys a little background on David, he is a physique competitor. So, he doesn't have as much wiggle room with the mistakes he can make with his workout program or with his nutrition program. He's going into a contest and he's trying to shed 2% body fat. Well, most people out there are not physique competitors or bodybuilders or doing, bikini contests. I know you don't do those, but we have a lot of females in the gym who do those.
We do, yeah.
Uh, and you're trying to lose a couple percent body fat. You got to do everything right to do that. Your calories got to be right, all that. But if you're trying to lose 50 pounds, if you're trying to lose 75 pounds, if you're trying to lose 20 pounds, it's really simple. That's why we're saying you can lose weight fast and easy. So, go ahead. You go first, David, and then we'll kick it around.
Yeah, so I mean, when we say fast and easy, I think it's one of those things where a lot of times people will see all sorts of stuff on the internet, hear from friends and whatever else, how hard it is in terms of kind of changing your lifestyle. Because when we talk about, nutrition and we use the word your diet has such a negative thing, negative uh, things surrounding it. And so basically what we're saying with diet is really just what you eat. Period. That's it. In the story, there's nothing else to it. Now we've come to the whole thing of diet being, oh, I'm going to have to cut calories. I'm going to have to do this, eat this other type of food. That's not what diet is. Diet is what you're eating. So when you change your
Right. It's
diet,
good or bad.
right, it could be good or bad. If you're eating Dairy Queen 3 times a day, that's a bad diet. If you're eating clean and you're eating whole foods and things like that, that's a much better diet. So I just kind of want to wipe diet out the window as far as something that's a negative connotation every time to almost everybody. So, but when we look at, how hard is it to lose weight? Is it fast? Is it easy? Here's the thing. Like you and I were talking about a few minutes ago, Steve, in terms of, you know, when we change what we're eating, okay, and I'm going to go extreme here from myself, what I used to eat, being 260 pounds, I would eat probably some of the worst foods you could ever eat in your life. I mean, it was sweets were always there. Like I'm a sweet junkie if I'm allowed to be. I don't allow myself to be most of the time because I have other goals, as you mentioned. But I had a really, really terrible diet, and so what kind of led me to getting to where I am now, and the complete opposite side of the spectrum, being a physique competitor, where it's pretty strict as far as what I'm eating and what the portions are and all these other things. If you're just somebody who says, I want to get healthy, I want to lose some weight, I want to gain some weight in some cases, gain more muscle mass, whatever your situation is, it's not as difficult as what everybody leads you to believe to change that, nutrition that you're taking and changing that diet that you're eating. You just have to change it. That's it. Start incorporating healthier foods. Stop eating junk. Those are the things. Yes, it's not going to happen tomorrow, but it's going to happen if you put your mind to it and really just say, no, I need to eat for me and I need to do better. Is it going to happen, super fast that you lose weight? You'd be surprised. As soon as you stop eating the junk, how quickly that starts to fall off because your body's going, all right, I can utilize this stuff. I can use it all. The nutrients that are in there, I can break it down and use it. Do we have a whole bunch of stuff left over that our body doesn't know what the heck it is and stores it as, body fat in case we could use it later? No, because our body utilizes the natural food. So it does happen fast when you make it happen. So once your body's starting to use all that stuff, man, it just happens quick. So it's something where, yeah, it does take self-control and a lot of discipline, especially when you come from where I did, where I really didn't have any, and that's how I got to where I was. But you take responsibility for that and say, I'm going to also take responsibility for changing it. And then it does happen quick, a lot faster than you'd think.
Yeah, that's a good start for everyone out there listening. I just want to add to that, in that the discipline is critical. You have to have discipline. If you don't have discipline for this, you're screwed. You just you. But it's not hard to have discipline, especially when you start getting some wins under your
Mm-hmm.
belt. Then the discipline gets easier and easier, because we've said this before. Now you have an investment. So I'm just going to bring out a couple simple things, especially for some of you out there that are aging. You need to get enough protein. Why do you need to get enough protein? Because your protein is where your body gets the amino acids. Your body needs the amino acids. It breaks down the protein. Amino acids do just about everything in your body. Chemical reactions from the enzymes and all the different protein chains that they create. You have to get enough protein. And I talk to people all the time, on social media, my mother-in-law, you know, and here's something that's very common. They're not eating very much. They're not eating very much, but their gut is getting bigger. Even females. A girl that I went to school with messaged me on Facebook or something, and she said, I'm not eating, I don't eat very much, but my gut is getting bigger. And she was always one of those thinner girls in elementary school and high school and all that. But now she's eating less, but she's noticing that gut. And you see men in the gym all the time. And I'm going to tell you why I think this is. It's simple. Protein is one thing, but you see a lot of these men in the gym who are just shredded, their legs and their arms and everything. And then they got the basketball in their shirt, the drum belly, like I call it.
Yep.
These men are eating at a calorie deficit. And yet it's not going away. It stays there. Now, we're not doctors. We're just nobodies, except for people who have learned through experience. I've been doing this all my life. 50 years I've been thinking about my health and my body. And like, for instance, my friend that I went to school with, um, I said, it's the food you're eating. If and these guys who are just shredded except for the basketball under their shirt, it's the food they're eating. And a lot of them are in a calorie deficit or a calorie maintenance, and it won't go away. You know what? You could eat more, and that basketball under your shirt is going to start to go away. Why? Because it's caused by junk, processed foods. So if you do seed oils, and people argue with me all the time, and it's like, you know what? I'm done putting up research on how seed oils are this or that. Go and get yourself informed. Think for yourself. Don't believe in everything out there that somebody's trying to sell you something saying seed oils are not bad. Let's call them vegetable oils because vegetables are good for you. So it's all natural vegetable oil. Well, it's crap.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I'm not a doctor. It's crap. Don't put it in your body. Deep fried foods, 9 times out of 10, that's what they're frying it in. Stop
Mm-hmm.
it. That's where the basketball is coming from. That's where, how come I'm eating less and my gut is getting better? It's coming from the junk that you're eating. And as you're getting older, you need the protein. Why? So you don't lose lean body mass. Every pound of muscle you lose, you're losing efficiency in your metabolic rate, in your metabolism. You're losing efficiency. You have to maintain the muscle. The more muscle you maintain, the healthier your metabolism is going to be, which
Absolutely.
will which will fend off diabetes, all the bad things that come from bad diets. Sarcopenia sets in, you starting to lose, and then you start to lose muscle, you start to get weaker, you start to lose your balance. So lose weight fast and easy. How? Make sure you get enough protein. And I mean protein, I mean get protein. Get 150 grams of protein. I don't care if you weigh 120, 150. Get 150 grams of quality protein. And eat single ingredient foods. If you have the discipline to do that, you don't have to count your calories. You can only eat so much when you're eating single ingredient foods. That means an egg. An egg does not have a label on it that says yellow dye, seed oils. It has no list of garbage that's in the egg. Eat meat. It's a single ingredient food. You can eat some fruit. I mean, if you're diabetic, maybe you need to be a little careful. You eat a lot of rice. Okay, that's a starch, that's a carb, but it's a single ingredient food.
Mm-hmm.
It's rice, it's a potato, it's a vegetable, it's a piece of fruit, it's a piece of meat, it's a piece of fish, it's a piece of chicken. And then as you get more advanced, you make it grass fed beef, organic fed chicken, wild caught fish, organic fruits and vegetables. Then you're really perfecting what you're eating. And when your body gets healthier, you're going to lose 50 pounds. Two simple things. Do those two simple things.
Yeah, I'd agree. And just to kind of, I think you made a really good point in terms of making sure you're getting the protein, no matter what your weight is, because a lot of people do kind of neglect their protein, or to your other point of all the fried foods and the junk that people are eating, they say, well, I'm eating less calories than I was eating at whatever time before that they're comparing to. Problem is, we've done a whole nother video on calories in, calories out, and that whole thing. But I'll tell you what, all calories are not created equal. I don't care if they're 1,500 and 1,500, great. But what's this 1,500 mystery calories made of that's then going to be stored here? Because, yeah, you know what? We can, expend 3,000 calories, which is great. But all this mystery meat and weird stuff that maybe is in this fast food meal you ate, that's not going anywhere. That's either hard to break down, impossible to break down. It's going to be stored. All sorts of different things will happen. And so they're not really created equal. So if I'm eating 3,000 calories of ice cream every day, and that's the only thing I eat every day, versus somebody who eats 3,000 calories in, you know, around what I do, well, I'm a little bit less than that right now, but, you know, chicken, ground beef, rice, asparagus, all these types of things, eggs, egg whites, all those things. Like those, again, one ingredient foods versus if I'm eating a gallon of ice cream, whatever that quart, whatever it is, equivalent in um, in calories, that's not going to get you the same result. It doesn't matter if it's the same amount of calories because all of those other ingredients, all of those fillers, all those different things that make it taste yummy and have a certain consistency and stay on the shelf for 100 years, all of those things are going to cause problems. So it's not the same. So I just think people have to also understand that, yeah, single ingredient foods, do the best that you can and say, look, I'm going to eat these single ingredient foods and I'm going to make that my diet. So again, diet being not a scary or negative word, my diet, what I'm going to be eating is these things. And that way, you've got a meal plan. Like for me, I crave my meals that I prepare. Like I can't wait till, I eat my next one. Not everybody's going to be exactly like that, but you can be someone who will crave whole foods, things that are good for you. And even if you have a junk food meal every once in a while, you're still going to be like, oh, that wasn't as good as I remember it being. Of course it's not, because you've reset yourself and your body's used to having good food that's healthier for you. So these junk food meals that you used to love are not going to taste the same. So I'm just telling you now that though it's hard at the beginning and you're going to have, different cravings and whatnot, which is exactly what those major food companies want you to have because they want you to keep eating the garbage food. Okay. But once you cut that out, after 2 weeks or so, man, you're not even craving that anymore. And again, like I said, if you slip up and you eat something, which is not the end of the world, but it's not going to taste the same. It's not going to taste as good. So you're not going to want it as much as you did before. So it takes steps, but the first step is getting it done, starting it. And it's not a major thing. It's just just take those steps into your control, and it can make a world of difference.
Yeah, and we'll get ripped into for like when you said all calories are not the same. Well, let's clarify a little. All food is not the same,
Correct.
and we give examples. Um, a Twinkie or 10 cups of broccoli, about the same amount of calories. It's the food that's not the same, and because
Exactly.
all those smart alecks are going to come out and say, "What do you mean? A calorie is a calorie? It's a measurement of energy." Of course it is. We're not denying that. We're
Right.
we're just saying you don't do this by counting your calories. You have to eat the right kind of food, and that's critical. And whenever I hear someone say, "I'm eating less than I've ever eaten," and maybe they're my age or getting older, I know right away they're not eating enough protein. How do I know that? Because, okay, the person weighs 130 pounds, 140, 150. And I know that because if they ate 10 eggs and a half a pound of lean ground beef, they wouldn't even be at 90 grams of protein. That's not enough. So if you ate 10 eggs and a half a pound of lean ground beef, I don't care who you are, you did not get enough protein in your diet. So you have to look for protein rich foods, supplement with amino acids. That's why you need, and if you can't eat that much, I recommend supplementing with essential amino acids so that your body will have enough of the amino acids to do what it needs to do. But the point is, no, the food is not the same, which means the calories in this food, it's still the same measurement, but it's not the same as this food.
Well, and you also have to think too, Steve, for all our viewers out there, is that to that point, they're not the same food for sure, but also the things that maybe don't count as part of the calories that are in things. So we know that fat, carbs, protein, all those things have various amounts of calories per gram and all of that. That's wonderful. But again, when we're looking at, okay, the serving size of this junk food over here is this many calories versus a steak. Okay, let's say it's the same amount of calories. We know the steak is, that's it, it's just a steak. Over here, we've got, okay, it's the same amount of calories. Maybe these things that don't count towards our nutritional, calorie count, all these additives and fluffy materials that are in all these things, red dyes, yellow dyes, all these lists and lists of stuff. So they're going to count as nothing in the calories, most likely, because they're just these, little ingredients in here and there, but they're highly toxic a lot of times. So again, yeah, you know what? Calories will be the same. Glad you clarified that as well. Yeah, they're the same amount of calories. They're different food. And then this food over here, there's a lot of ingredients that don't count for your calories, but once they're digested and they're in your system, there's a huge difference. So
Yeah.
that's the other thing to think about,
Volume.
is not
You
just the
know,
calories, is the other things that are in there that don't count towards calories.
sure, a Twinkie is not the same volume as 10 cups of broccoli. And it's not the
Absolutely
same
not.
nutrient density, but yet it has the same measurement of energy. So, if you guys have questions or comments, please put them in the comment section. Thoughts, we love to hear your thoughts. Are you with us? Call me names. I get that all the time. Uh, I've been called a Karen. I've been called fat. I mean, fat, really? Come on. So leave a comment, leave a suggestion, and like and subscribe. So, David, if people want to check you out on social media or find out what you're doing, how do they find you?
So they can find me on Instagram at David Wright _fitness. That's my personal fitness journey page, show updates, things like that. And then at Wright Fitness Training as well on Instagram for the personal training page.
All right, David, we'll see you next time.